boy, I am so excited about today. Today of all days, we get to cover an absolute legend, not just of anime, but of fiction in general. A legendary character from a legendary series. My boy Vegeta. I don't think I've ever met a single person in my life that doesn't like Vegeta. If you have a penis between your legs, you like Dragon Ball Z. If that penis is black, you love Dragon Ball Z. And if you like or love Dragon Ball Z, you like Vegeta. But the question I ask here today is, why do you love Vegeta? Because he's kind of a dick. Is it because of the memes? Is it because of the unmatched swagger? Is it because he's an underdog? Is it because he cucked Yamcha? Why do people like this guy so much? He's kind of a dick. Why do I like him so much? He's kind of a dick. Well, do not fret, boys and girls. We're about to discover this right now today as we analyze this legend among legends, the great Saiyan warrior prince, Vegeta. Our story starts long, long ago on a faraway warrior planet called Vegeta, when one day a very metrosexual conqueror of worlds shows up and decides to enslave the entire planet. None of these stories ever start well, but it's not that old-fashioned classic slavery that you and I are used to. This metrosexual conqueror of worlds, named Frieza by the way, just decides to force this entire planet of warriors into conquering other worlds for him. So basically he enacts forced conscription on an entire planet. I mean, there are worse types of slavery. And to keep the king of planet Vegeta in line, also named Vegeta, Frieza decided to take his son, also named Vegeta, from him and force him into battle. Frieza kept little Vegeta very close, because if you're going to dominate a man, taking his son under your wing and making sure he can't do anything about it is a pretty damn good way to do it. Now this happened for quite some time, with Prince Vegeta as well as a lot of other Saiyans being forced by this asshole to go around and destroy and conquer planets for him. Eventually a lot of Saiyans got together and formed a rebellion and said, you know what, we're tired of this whole slave shit and we're gonna fuck Frieza up. And they decided to stand against him. And well, Frieza fucked them up. He didn't just fuck them up, he fucked up the whole planet. I mean, he killed everybody. Planet Vegeta no longer existed. Neither did King Vegeta or anyone else in the planet, as far as anyone was aware. The only known survivor was good old Prince Vegeta. Well, I mean, Raditz and Nappa were there, but don't worry about them. They're not important to the story. Who Frieza chose to keep around as some kind of trophy or something. I don't know. He's kind of a dick. I'm going to use that word a lot over the course of this video. Just be prepared for that. And that's just kind of how things stayed for several years. Vegeta just traveled around the universe killing people and conquering worlds for this guy who he couldn't stand, who killed his father and his race and his whole fucking planet. And there really wasn't a whole lot Vegeta could do about it. Until one day he heard about these mystical artifacts called the Dragon Balls. Now the Dragon Balls have a special power that give you one wish, any wish you could possibly imagine. And Vegeta thought, this is my opportunity. He believed he was going to find these Dragon Balls and make a wish for immortality, so he could finally stand up against Frieza, the man who eradicated his entire race. So if you're asking yourself right now, well, Rouga, why do you want to ask for immortality? Why didn't he ask for something more useful? Like that Frieza had never been born so that his planet would still exist. Or maybe for ultimate power so he could wipe out Frieza and his entire army. Why immortality? It just seems like a very ineffective wish. And my answer to you hypothetical questionnaire is, shut the fuck up. You're asking too many goddamn questions. And these Dragon Balls were located on a little planet called Earth. So he traveled to Earth in the hopes that finally he would be able to get his justice. Defeat the man who killed everything that he knew in this world. But, he got his ass kicked by a kung fu retard. And this is where Goku enters our story. If you don't know who Goku is, I don't know what the fuck you're watching this video for. Go watch Pride and Prejudice or some other gay shit. But this loss lit a fire under Vegeta's ass, and he knew exactly what he had to do. From this point on, he was gunning it towards Frieza. He was going to defeat Frieza with or without the Dragon Balls. And after a whole string of very badass events, Frieza was finally defeated, felled by the champion Saiyan, the most powerful Saiyan who had ever lived, Goku. Right. Okay. So Vegeta was kind of bummed out about this whole situation and pretty much made it his life goal from this point on to become more powerful than Goku and to defeat him in battle. And from this point, we could pretty much skip forward like 10-15 years. Motherfucker still hasn't beaten him. Now, while this very one-sided rivalry is going on, you also have this B-plot where he's cucking the fuck out of Yamcha. He's laying some serious Saiyan pipe on that Bulma bus. Even impregnates that poor woman. Man left it all in there. Every fucking drop. And that's pretty much it. Vegeta's story from that point on becomes him splitting his time and effort between his rivalry with Goku and his family. And a lot of that time, arguably the majority of that time, he's spending it wrong by obsessing over that rivalry. But the question that we need to answer in this video is, why? Why does that rivalry matter so much to him? Why is he so pissed off at Goku? Basically, what is Vegeta's whole deal? And basically, Vegeta's entire character can be summarized by one scene.
Who are you people? Don't Don't you see the universe matters more than your meaningless squabble?
What do you know of meaningless? Spend most of your life ruled by another. Watch your race dwindle to a handful. And then, tell me what has more meaning than your own strength. I have in me the blood of a Saiyan prince. He is nothing but a joke. Yet I've had to watch him surpass me in strength. My destiny thrown to the wayside. He's even saved my life as if I were a helpless child. He has stolen my honor. And his debts must be paid.
God damn, I love this character so much. So what you need to understand about the Saiyan people is that they were a warrior race. Things like pride, honor, respect, this was all very important to them. When Planet Vegeta was wiped out, Vegeta took it as a personal failure, that he, as the prince of his people, failed to protect them. From that point on, it became his duty as their leader to avenge them. But he didn't believe that that was possible. See, Frieza was so much more powerful than any Saiyan who had ever lived that he kind of blocked out of his mind that this was even a possibility that he could do, until he found out about the Dragon Balls. That suddenly reinvigorated him that somehow this may actually be possible, but only with the help of the Dragon Balls, until he met Goku. Goku showed something in him that he had never seen in any Saiyan before. A ridiculous level of power, an ability to increase your power in a way that Vegeta just had never seen before. This gave him renewed vigor to go after Frieza. But when Goku defeated Frieza, he failed to do this. Vegeta, the warrior prince of his people, whose entire life was ruined by this guy, who devoted his life to taking him down to avenge the people he failed, was incapable of doing that. And some random guy who really doesn't care about the conflict at all, since he spent his entire life on Earth and didn't even really know what Planet Vegeta was, just stumbles in and defeats him for him. From the moment Planet Vegeta was blown up, Vegeta has felt like he was a failure who let down all of his people and then failed to avenge them. He is an honorable Saiyan patriot who personally feels that he has lost his honor. The Saiyan people do not do participation trophies. He doesn't get a pat on the back for trying. He could not avenge his people. And this is the crux of his entire character. This is where his obsession with defeating Goku comes from. It's not just an obsession with strength. It's an obsession with strength due to the failure of his weakness allowing this thing to happen to his people. And this is a mindset that he spends most of his life trying to get over. And this is where I think most of the misunderstandings about Vegeta's character come from. What people don't realize is that Vegeta is a samurai. The way he thinks and the way he carries himself is almost to a T how a samurai back in ancient Japan would carry themselves. And just like the samurai, when they lose their honor, they have two choices: kill themselves or get their honor back under any means. It doesn't matter what you have to sacrifice in order to do it. Back in the day as a samurai, if you dishonored yourself, you could literally kill your firstborn child to get your honor back. And that was an acceptable way of doing it. And while Vegeta doesn't go nearly that far, he does allow Babidi to control his mind specifically so it will corrupt his soul enough that he would stop caring for and loving his family. All for the purposes of defeating Goku and reattaining his honor. This is essentially the shonen hero equivalent of a samurai murdering his own family to get his honor back. And in Vegeta's mind, the only way to get his honor back after losing it, after this massive failure, is to defeat Goku in combat. In his mind, he doesn't have a choice. That's the only way to possibly get that honor back. When he has a child with Bulma, he forces himself to essentially ignore them entirely, despite the fact that family is actually very important to Vegeta, so he can continue to train and fight and get his honor back by eventually defeating Goku. And every single day he couldn't do that was another failure to his people, and another day he had to live in this world without honor. A lot of people see Vegeta as this arrogant guy who thinks way too highly of himself, and while I think a lot of that comes from Dragon Ball Z Abridged and how they chose to write the character, which is very funny, but not particularly accurate, in Dragon Ball Z, he's not really like that. In Dragon Ball Z, he kind of hates himself. He hates his failures, he hates his weakness, he hates that some random guy he met on some random planet just stepped up and did the thing he was supposed to do. And his entire arc from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z all the way to the end of the Buu saga is dealing with those failures. He's no longer enslaved enslaved by Frieza. His people are gone. He needs to move on with his life, with this woman that he fell in love with and their child. He can't keep living in the past. And this is what makes Vegeta such a great character. A lesser written series would have gone one of two directions. Either one, he would acquire his honor back, or two, he would realize that he did everything he could and he would forgive himself. Dragon Ball Z doesn't do either of those two things with Vegeta's character. The fact of the matter is that Vegeta will always recognize his history as his failure. It's not something he is ever going to get over. He will never reject that failure as his responsibility that he failed to live up to. This is something that will affect him forever. He has grown as a character and has learned to live with it, but he never will really move past it. Because Vegeta does not accept failure. He doesn't accept mediocrity from him or anyone around him, especially from Saiyans. Anytime he sees Goku, Trunks, Gohan, or any of the other Saiyan characters in any way show weakness, submission, mediocrity, he will call it out, and he absolutely does not tolerate it. He believes that everyone should always strive to be the best that they can possibly be at all times, which is a very admirable trait which is unfortunately demonized in our current society. And he will spend the rest of his life fighting and defending this new world that he now lives in with his new family, to not make up for the failures of his past, but to just ensure that those failures never repeat. He's actually a very tragic character, and it's kind of a shame that so much of online discourse have turned him into basically a fucking meme. And even though Vegeta's not my favorite character in Dragon Ball Z, I'm more of a Piccolo Android 17 kind of guy, I will never argue that Vegeta is the best written character of the series. And he absolutely deserves his spot as one of the legends of anime. And how the fuck can you not like him when he has scenes like this?
It will take more than head games to stop me. You may have invaded my mind and my body, but there's one thing a Saiyan always keeps. His pride!
God damn, I want to fuck something. Anyway, that's going to be all from me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Do all that cool stuff. I've been having some subscribers tell me that they're actually not getting notifications for a lot of my videos. So if you want all the notifications, not just some of them, make sure to click that little bell icon. And always remember, y'all be safe out there, you hear?